Well, congratulations. It took 3 years, but Lil Bro finally beat us. The Rochester Knighthawks are 1-0 in the Seneca Nations era against the Buffalo Bandits. Welcome back to Banditland Boulevard. Trevor Howard, Tony LaMonica, we are here for you. 12-9 loss at the Blue Cross Arena to the Rochester Knighthawks. Uncharacteristic games, like I said before. First time in 3 years the little brother beat us. So puts the Knighthawks at a league-leading 5-1 record, and it puts the Bandits down in fifth in the standings. I was there in attendance for this game, Tony. I know you were as well. Not the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I was wondering, especially in the second half, in that third quarter, where the real Bandits were. I didn't know if they left the Greyhound bus out in the front of the arena, or if this was another team that was disguised in Bandit jerseys, but these guys, it was just, I mean, talk about an off night, sloppy night, the whole nine with these guys.
Yeah, you know what it felt like? It felt like the 2022 Bandits when we go face the Colorado Mammoth, where Zed Williams was pushing us around and we just couldn't find a rhythm to beat them. So it felt like deja vu all over again, but this time with the little brother with Rochester. Going into this game, you had time to heal or time to, prep. They had a game in Philadelphia, won that, had to come back home. You think, oh, they're going to be tired. They're not going to play as strong. They played the same exact way they did. They never let up on any play, and they just kept on pushing. And they had the lead and never looked back. They did what we usually do, is that fast start and then just never look back. And that's how you win games. And we did not come to that kind of game plan that Saturday night. So hopefully that'll be a lesson learned. And congrats to Rochester for beating us up.
Yeah, and just like you mentioned, I mean, the Bandits had 6 days of preparation going into this game. The Knighthawks had less than 24 hours. They were playing in Philadelphia, had to take the bus trip back to Rochester. All the excuses in the world were for the Knighthawks if they lost this game. Well, if the Bandits won this game 12-9 over the Knighthawks, well, the Knighthawks played the night before. That's an easy cop-out excuse. The Bandits, on the other side, they had no excuse in this game to lose 12-9. 6 days of preparation. We said in the pregame, Tony, and we kind of said this off air before we pressed the record button here, but we said your stars needed to be stars. Tally up the stats here as far as goals are concerned. Dane Smith, 1. Josh Byrne, 1. Yep. 2 points, 2 goals between the two players. That's just simply not going to get it done. And Kyle Buchanan is showing you that he still got it. What is he? He's in his high 30s, pushing 40, and he can still get a hat trick. Granted, that first goal, I don't know if that really should have counted. I thought his knee was in the crease. I guess the Rochester head coach took a little too long to determine if he wanted to throw the flag or not, so it was non-reviewable. That goal stood. Yep. The guys that really stood out to me in this game were Kyle Buchanan and Clay Scanlon. Those were really the only 2 players that came to play. And I want to get your input on this too, Tony. And I love that we're 3.5 minutes into this, and we're already just, criticize. Well, a 12-9 loss to Rochester, you reap what you sow. With that said, Ian McKay, I got to ask you a question, brother. Do you know that the creases in the National Lacrosse League are all the same size? They're all the same size. Why are we stepping in the crease and getting 3 goals waved off? So you didn't step in the crease once, not twice, not 3 times. 3 times you stepped in the crease, and which all could have been goals. If you took the shot earlier, the shot placement was excellent. You had Hartley beat the whole time, and he had a hell of a night, but it seemed like whenever Ian McKay had the ball and he was streaking down the field, he found the back of the net. Dude, just step out of the crease. If those goals count, you at least go to overtime, and it's 12-12, and it's a coin flip who wins that game. But out-muscled, outmanned, sloppy, it didn't look like the Bandits.
No, it sure didn't, especially with the hesitation on taking the shots and whatnot. But again, like we also discussed too, is the over-accessing of passing, trying to make the pretty goal, trying to make the EA Sports highlight reel. You got to stop thinking that. You got to get back to basics. This is what we have to start doing, is getting back to the 1-2 pass and then the shot routine. It's not trying to find a way through. It's not trying to see where the right moment is. It's either you do it or you don't. You got to stop this hesitation crap. You got to keep on doing what you have to do and getting more shots on. I'm not saying, again, where we outshot our opponent. It's the fact of you can't keep them thinking it's the same two people always taking the critical shots. Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, like you said, Ian McKay only had 1 goal as well. Tahoka had a goal to contribute, but Kyle Buchanan, 4 goals alone by himself, 3 of which were on the power play on all 3 of the Buffalo Bandits power plays. Secondary has done their thing, but when your stars can't be stars and they try to be like a hero playmaker instead of a goal scorer, that's not going to win you games. So Josh Byrne and Dane Smith, take note. This is now the time to adjust, go back to basics, and be yourselves, because this is now the turning point, I think, in our season. I'm not saying it's too early because it's only 5 games in, but you guys got to be leaders out there in the field. You got to show them why you're the Dane and Josh show.
That's right. And you know what? It might be too early to say this, but I think Rochester looked pretty legit over this weekend. If you had any questions about their legitimacy in this league for at least this year, a big win in Philly. Now, Philadelphia, I read this morning, they are 3-12 in their last 15 regular season games. They are awful.
Ouch.
But the fact that they went in there and won that game, still a pretty loud place to play there in Philadelphia, and then played the 3, the back-to-back-to-back champions the night after, and they also won that game by 3 goals. It shows you that Rochester is pretty legit, but unless Rochester pulls what they did a few years ago where they started off the season 6-0, then the Bandits beat them at home, and then that was when their season kind of unraveled, and the Bandits ended up killing them in the playoffs that year. What was it, 20-8, whatever the score was that year? Yeah. If Rochester doesn't collapse like that, they have a pretty legit shot at going pretty far this year. So if you had any questions about the legitimacy of the little brothers over there in the 5A5, they're looking like the big brothers right now as they're at the top of the standings. 5-1 is their record. I believe they're tied with Saskatchewan, and Rochester has that tiebreaker over them head-to-head. But Ryan Hartley played out of his mind. I don't think the Bandits' shots did him any better. I mean, I think he could have set up a chair in the middle of the crease and just sat there and took all the shots, because it seemed like a lot of the shots, especially from just inside the restraining line, were just hitting him right in the middle of his chest, right in the logo in the center of his jersey, where he didn't even have to move. Now, he made a couple huge saves here and there, like Nanakoke spinning around one time where his helmet flew off. I don't know how he made that save. There was one tic-tac-toe pass to Clay Scanlon that I still don't know to this day how that stayed out of the net, but the Bandits didn't bring their best shot. So Ryan Hartley, while he did have a pretty decent night holding the Bandits to under 10, the Bandits weren't doing any favors by taking those shots that looked almost lazy to me. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more, because the way that they were, again, like I said, the excessive passing, trying to make it look pretty every time, you got to not do that no more. That's got to obviously be out of your playbook. The only way you're going to do that is only on the special teams, even on the power play, or, go try doing it shorthanded, try to commit to allowing your opponents to make a penalty against you. But until then, you got to go back to basics. You got to just keep peppering this goaltender. And at first, in the first half, where it looks like that the Bandits were finding a rhythm and they were getting the shots on and they were getting their own rebounds, and you know what, that I thought for sure was going to tire out Hartley. It just kept pepping him up. It just told him about, hey, I'm still in this game, but if I'm making saves, that's all that matters to me. But Ryan Hartley really played out of his mind, even with the distraction from the crowd that most of Banditland that brought to him. He really stood up, and he stood tall for the Rochester Knighthawks that night.
He did well, and that in-arena announcer let us know. I've said this about the Calgary Roughnecks PA announcer. Maybe Chris Swenson should send out a cease and desist to the Rochester Knighthawks PA announcer, because he's dropping a whose house. Really? We're going to be dropping a whose house in Rochester? On. That is so bad. Whose house? Hartley's house. I'm like, no. Every time he said that, our section was shouting Stain House.
Of course, so was ours.
So good luck trying to make that work. I will also say this. I want to credit Banditland for this too. I'm not giving the Nighthawk fans any glory here when I say this. Blue Cross Arena for the Rochester Nighthawks, record-breaking 8,475 fans.
Yep.
But I want to say a good chunk of those, you're welcome, Rochester. Any Rochester fans listening to this, you guys are welcome, because we're the ones that packed your freaking barn. We're the ones that packed your barn. Every time the Bandits scored, that it sounded like a home game. I was waiting for the horn to go off.
Yeah, absolutely.
When Zed Williams took the dead ball foul penalty 3 seconds into the game,
That was weird, by the way.
Going to the box by the way how loud it was. And I was like, oh no. I'm like, no, that's Zed Williams going to the box. And that set up the Bandits' first power play. Banditland, I don't care, win or lose, you guys always bring it to Rochester, and it is so
good job out there, guys.
You always bring it to Hamilton, but Rochester is that second home. Like, whenever the Bandits play there, and if God forbid, this is a preview of what's going to be the 2026 NLL Finals between the Bandits and the Rochester. Inject that into my veins, man. I know that you guys are going to bring it in the playoffs and the regular season. It was great. Man, that PA announcer was hurting my ears, though. I mean, he's just screaming into that freaking microphone. I think my ears are still ringing from that. But yeah, so someone's got to tell him not to swallow the mic every once in a while. At least Chris Swenson doesn't do that. But no one can outmatch Banditland, and Banditland certainly showed up in the 5-8-5. Tony, what were some of the things that you liked about this game? I mean, we already told you, some of the stuff that we didn't really like Byrne getting a goal during garbage time, Dane Smith scoring a goal. That was good, but I mean, that was all he gave you. We talked about the crease violations and the dumb delay game penalties, but was there anything in this game that really stood out to you and you really enjoyed?
Yeah, it had to be Kyle Buchanan again. Just his 4-goal night, 3, which, like I spoke before, said that was on the only guy that scored on the power play for the Bandits, going 3 for 3, perfect 100% on special teams there. But unfortunately, to our the boys on defense, they couldn't hold a power play against us. But again, that is what it is. But Kyle Buchanan being consistent, getting that 4 or 5 point night like he always does, and faceoffs again. Connor Farrell. Amazing. Plus over 50%, 16 of 25. Can't go wrong there. Setting the tone where we've been asking him all season long to just, that's your cue, buddy. That's what you have to do. The positives there, but with, like I said, with the secondary scoring, Tahoka doing his thing, Clay Scanlon doing his thing, Ian McKay partaking a 3-point night. You can't like deny that. But again, not trying to go back what I said before, but the stars were stars, and that's the secondary. So again, kudos to them for contributing as much as they can for that game, and just got to look to next week's game.
At least the secondary did show up. This game could have gotten out of hand fast, and for a period of time there in that second quarter, it really did when they just kept potting in goals. Wasn't thrilled with the way that Matt Vince played, really, especially in that first half. I felt like
a few of them we wish to have back.
Yeah, that third quarter, though, is when he started to get his groove back.
Yeah.
But the Bandits' offense did you no favors. I mean, they scored no goals in the third, and we simply cannot have that. If you scored 1, maybe 2, this is a competitive game all the way down to the final whistle. I mean, we're talking 1 goal in crunch time, and tensions will be high. The Bandits are getting back into it, but at the same point, it also felt like whenever the Bandits scored, they would score in pairs, and they would kind of cut into that lead to make you think that, hey, momentum's shifting here.
Yeah.
But then a Thomas McConvey or Connor Fields or a Zed Williams would pot in 2 more, and then the lead would go back to a 4-goal deficit again. So it seemed like nothing that the Bandits could do would be able to catch them, later on in that second half. But it was that second quarter that really won the game for the Knighthawks. When they went up 7 or 6-3 and then 7-3, that was when it started to really get out of hand. But then you see that they make it 7-5, and you're like, okay, this is a whole new game at halftime. Just win the half. You're going to win this game. It's whatever.
Sure.
We want you to play a full 60, but if it's got to be close down the stretch and you come out with a W, hey, Tony and I are not going to argue with winning. Never. We're never going to argue with winning. As long as you have more goals on the scoreboard than the other team, we're fine. We're fine. We're chilling with a 4-1 record here. No, they came out in the third quarter and scored nothing. They scored the same amount of goals as me and you in that third quarter. And that was just a bad sight. I mean, transition was trying to get stuff going. Credit their defense too, especially Ian Lord. I mean, that dude is in his 40s and he's still got it, man. Like, he is still that big physical threat. Like, I'm not letting you get in front of our crease. I'll mess you up if you get in front of our crease. And man, when he was a free agent, I remember saying in the offseason, I wanted the Bandits to go grab him. And now that he's in Rochester and he still looks like a seasoned pro, I'm like, you know what? That would have looked nice in Banditland. But the defense, I really don't have too much of an issue with how the way the defense played. I would have loved to see Carter Coffey play. He was a late time scratch. I saw him in warmups, and that was about it. But
That's it.
I thought Taylor Dooley played fine. Cam Wires, I mean, he kind of struggled here and there. He was behind Zed Williams a couple times. They had to drop Thomas Whitty back on D a couple times trying to cover Zed Williams, and that's impossible for anyone to do.
Yeah, mismatch there.
I will say the difference in this game, though, is kind of like what you said and what I said. It was the stars weren't stars for the Bandits, but the stars for Rochester were the stars. Zed Williams, hat trick in the first quarter. And we said that he's going to get a couple, but you got to limit him. They certainly did not limit him with that hat trick in the first quarter. And I believe it was 7 total points for Zed Williams. I'm pretty sure that was what it was.
He had 5.
5 points?
Yeah, 3, 2, 5.
I was thinking of Thomas McConvey, 3 goals.
7.
This. Jeez, that's ridiculous. And then Connor Fields I felt like we limited Connor Fields as much as we possibly could. He scored a goal at the end of the game when a lot of the Bandit fans have already left. It was already garbage time. The Knighthawks had the game wrapped up when it was 11-9, but he scored that first goal, and it was that first goal where I'm like, Vince, I mean, it's a low shot. I know it's a power play goal, and Rochester did an excellent job at resetting the shot clock and just creating more chances, and that one finally found its way in the back of the net, but low drive, almost 5-hole. And there were a couple of goals where Matt Vince gave up where it was like 5-hole or under the arm or something. And just wasn't really characteristic for him. But also, not only were the stars not stars, I felt like the Bandits were just out-muscled, out-hit. There was a play where Ron John was streaking down the right side, and he gets just absolutely leveled by a Rochester defenseman. And I was like, oh, well, they look like
He got hit by Zed Williams, by the way.
That was Zed. He looks like they look like the more physical team. The more physical team showed up in the home locker room, and that's just what it was. They were out-muscled, out-manned. It was a sloppy game. And I predicted in the season predictions that the Bandits would go 12-6. Well, these losses got to come from somewhere, and you're not going to go 17-0 or 18-0. You're not going to win every single game, but if this was a loss to Halifax or the Rush, I'd be like, you know what? That loss sucks, but flush it, move on. The fact that you lost to Rochester, this one sticks with you the week after the game is already over. And
sure does.
What the Bandits mentality should be this week going into Friday night for Y2K night, for Friday Night Lights is, all right, I don't care if Ottawa had nothing to do with this. We're going to beat the absolute brakes off of them because we're so pissed off of the fact that we lost to our little brother got the friggin' nut shot on us. And they ran away. They punched us in the nuts, turned around and ran away and laughed. That was what the Knighthawks did. So they got their shot in. The big bros got to be pissed, take it out on the Ottawa Black Bears. But Tony, just flat out out-muscled, out-hustled, outplayed.
Yeah, absolutely. They came out with we know what's going to come to us. We have to play the champions of the National Lacrosse League. We want to make sure that they're not going to push us around in the Blue Cross Arena, which is our house. So they absolutely proved the point. They outplayed us in every stage of the game. And now when they have to come back in April, we have to be well prepared for them again. We have to show the same toughness. We got to show the same grit and go out there and just, punch a hole in them or something. You got to do it because that's the only way you're going to beat them. But other than that, afterwards that we figured about this game too, that we did do a trade. And I know you probably heard about this too.
Yep.
We traded a draft pick for the 2028 third round. We got a transition, Mike McCannell from the Philadelphia Wings. So I don't know who's going to be sitting out for that. Maybe Triolo's on the ropes after what he's done, or whatever transition, Thomas Whitty or Ian McKay. I don't know who's going to be doing that, but if McCannell's going to come in somehow to upgrade the transition, I don't know where he's going to see fit, but
he could got back on board though. True. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video from the Las Vegas game that the Bandits played, but Mitch DeSnoo's injury, it looks like he'll be out long term. And this might be a more defensive play or pickup than anything else. I found out a good fact about this guy the Bandits traded for. He played on the Minto Cup team in 2019 with Zach Belter. He was teammates with Zach Belter on the Minto Cup team. So they know each other. mean, but that team was stacked, dude. Like Jonathan Donville. I think it was the Orangeville. It was the Orangeville team, I'm pretty sure, for the Minto Cup. Like Kyle Waters was on that team. Jonathan Donville was on that team. Zach Belter. That was a stacked roster. So at least there's some familiarity there. And, you know, hopefully it's not an Emerson Clark situation where he just goes in and absolutely lays an egg. But hopefully he can bring a strong defensive presence. From what I've been told, Zach Belter should be back on Friday. So that can only help out the defense better too. And
hopefully his head's cleared after that tackle landed on his head. But
absolutely,
other than that,
hopefully,
what are you gonna do?
Hopefully he's 100%. Before we get into our player of the game, the one player that I don't know, I was disappointed in the most for the Bandits was Mike Triolo. I mean, every pass, and it wasn't just Triolo, but every time it hit the guy's stick, maybe hit the mesh, he's dropping it. And I'm like, he hit a couple posts and he was snake bitten, but that dude couldn't catch a ball in Rochester. He couldn't catch a cold if his life depended on it in that game. But that doesn't excuse the Dane Smith airmails, the Clay Scanlon airmail passes. Everything was bad outside of number 91.
Yeah. I agree.
Essentially, and 41, I guess you could say 91 and 41 had great nights, but I mean, when you have Clay airmailing passes and Ian McKay getting 3 different crease violations, waving off 3 different goals, that sucks. But I mean, that Triolo, you're a big body, you can always dink and dunk, fake up, shoot down, get the goalie, catch him napping. He just couldn't hold on to the ball. And I was like, I don't know what I'm watching here, but flush it. Let Rochester
That's all you can
enjoy your Super Bowl, Rochester. This is your Super Bowl
champion.
Right now.
Yeah, that's what a few fans said too, is a championship. So
yep. I would love to see this matchup repeat in May. I'd love to see these guys go toe to toe in the championship finals. I think that would be phenomenal. The Bandits
definitely would be sold out.
In both ways. Both ways
it'd be sold out. Absolutely.
Blue Cross and the Key Bank. I'd love to see that in May. But you know what? Let Rochester celebrate this one. You being 5-1 and at the top of the standings, you have everything to lose. The Bandits can hang around the middle for a while, and then hopefully down the stretch they can really start to gel and jump back into the stands. But it was a sloppy game. You got to flush it. You got to move on. You have to. I think Ottawa almost feels like a must win going into next week, because if you win, you're likely in the top 3 of the standings. If you lose, you're probably either just on the outside looking in, or you're probably hanging around 7th or 8th. And you don't want Ottawa to have that head-to-head tiebreaker over you. So these matchups are not done with Rochester. You still got one more fan appreciation night at home. We get to see Big Brad McCulley come back home, so that'll be pretty sweet. But I think before anything else, we got to get into our Banditland Boulevard player of the game, and I will flat out just say, Bandit Killer, 28, Zed Williams. I mean, Seneca Nations bought the team from the Pagulas. Who was the cash grab player? Who's the Bandit Killer that they're going to add to their roster? Who do they play twice a year? They play the Bandits. So who kills the Bandits the most in free agency? That would be Zed Williams. And he was a player that tore his ACL last year, came back, didn't miss a step. He looks like the same old Zed, if not better.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. The guy who played against us as the Colorado Mammoths leading charge, and again, finding ways to defeat Matt Vince. And he did it again that first quarter alone, scoring a natural hattie. And with the fact that, just how tough that man really is, he's a big person to push around, but he pushes back. And as he had the collision of the game, basically on Ron John, he timed it perfectly. It was a clean hit, shoulder to shoulder. And he just lets you know that where his presence is felt. But he not only does it on the scoreboard, he does it when he hits you too. So that guy is one tough SOB. So I was kind of upset that we didn't pick him up, but again, I don't know why. That would have been probably one of the hugest pickups that we've ever had. But again, I don't think Buffalo could have afforded him now, especially with the cap.
Yeah, well, Bandits
That would have
been a literal cheat code if they got Zed Williams. I don't think they would. I think they would lose 2 games if they got Zed Williams and he stayed healthy. But
absolutely,
he is your player of the game too, or do you got somebody else?
No, I'm going to agree with that. I was going to say that too. I mean, even though McConvey had a great 7-point night, but Zed Williams just set the pace for him, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. So, yeah, I'm going to agree with you with Zed. Zed is just that guy that just proves people wrong, and he definitely did that this night.
And Rochester they're starting to really gel together. This is looking like a complete team. Obviously, I mean, they've only played 6 games, so we got 12 of these to go for them, and we'll see what happens in those remaining 12 games. But if I had a gun to my head right now, I would tell you Rochester is probably a top 3 playoff team. I mean,
yes,
they're going to be hosting home. They're going to have home field in the first round. I would tell you that right now. It's going to take an epic collapse to really destroy those vibes in Rochester. But the Bandits can only control what they can control. Tony and I will have the preview for you for this Friday night's game, Y2K against an Ottawa team that has good players, but really can't seem to figure it out as much as they probably should on paper. But we will get into that in our pregame. But, Tony, before we sign off, 12-9 final. We lose to the Rochester Knighthawks. Knighthawks get the win against their big brothers in the Buffalo Bandits, 12-9. So record-breaking sellout crowd, 8,475 at Blue Cross Arena. Again, tip of the cap to Bandits Mafia for making that happen. But 3-2 on the season, it's whatever. What are you going to do? But
it is true.
5th in the standings right now. If the season ended, the Bandits would be in 5th, and Rochester would be in 1st, and still in the playoffs. But just win the games on your schedule that you need to win. And I can't stand losing to. If there's 3 certain things about the NLL, I hate losing to Colorado, I hate losing to Rochester, and I hate losing to Toronto. If you beat those 3 teams, I'm a happy camper.
One more comment before I do say the sponsors is that we have been in this position before, and look what happened. We ended up kicking the crap out of Rochester 20-8, like you said, and we marched to the finals, even though we lost to Colorado. But still, what does that tell you? Regular season mode is completely different than playoff mode, and if you're not ready for that, the Bandits are absolutely ready for that. So I am, again, not worried, but I am curious about the next time we play Rochester and the fact that we have to be a little bit well prepared for that one. So
I'm just a little angry too, Tony. Like losing to Rochester,
I left Rochester pissed. I was so mad.
Dude, it boils my blood losing to those guys. I hate it.
That's the one thing I don't like is to lose against Rochester. I mean, that's
disgusting.
The only thing. But it is what it is. So
we
gotta just take the chip off our shoulder and just move forward and go play Ottawa and kick the crap out of them. So that's
first time the Knighthawks beat the Bandits in 3 years. When's the parade, Rochester? When are you guys setting up the parade? That's all I got to say. Tony, hit us with the sponsors, my guy.
You got it. Banditland Boulevard is brought to you in part by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, you haven't checked out their food and their service, we're telling you to go down there and check it out for ourselves. They're going to treat you like family. Also, we'd like to thank Beer Kind Brewery, located at 2765 Kenmore Avenue in also Tonawanda, New York. Go and check their draft beers, their choices of flavors. Give it a shot and see what you like. After that, Herney's Journeys. We like to if you guys want to book your next adventure, trip, vacation spot, contact Suzanne Pike at SuzannePike@Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. And finally, we'd like to thank our last sponsor, and that is Nino's Pizzeria, located at 2 locations at 1737 Orchard Park Road in West Seneca, also in 315 Buffalo Street in Hamburg. Guys, if you want to check out their pizza, wings, subs, you name it, they got fingers, you name it. Go check it out the way you like it, only in America. And for those watching us live here on StreamYard on YouTube, give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell every time you hear about Buffalo Bandits across from both myself and Trevor Hauer over there. Also, if you're listening in on every device known to man, on your tablet, your phone, your radio, listen to Spotify. Give us that 5-star rating that we talk only good things, even though about the loss, but we still talk good things about our boys, the Buffalo Bandits.
Of course we do. We've been doing this show since 2022. Whether they win or lose, unless you're like living under a rock or you're new to the show, Tony and I always sign off our show with 3 very, very, very simple words.
Stay positive. Keep your heads up, boys. Next game is ours. Let's go. That's take it.
3-2.
3 words alone. 3 words alone that we always keep ourselves motivated. And that is 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits.
Let's go.
Let's go, boys. Get back on track. Let's get back to basics.
Enjoy your parade, Rochester.